All right, everybody, it's 6 o'clock on Saturday. I am Kim the Paint Diva, and we are going to go live, and we are going to paint Believe, because, you know, we got to get into the Christmas spirit. So, welcome. It's the 28th of November, 2020. We are in month 9, I believe, of the world pandemic, and we're just going to make some fun. And we're going to have a little bit of laughter, and we're going to get into the holiday spirit. I hope that everybody had a great day today. The weather was beautiful. It cooperated. And we're going to just paint along and just share in the magic of the season. I don't know how many of you have got a tree up or started to do your decorating, but good for you if you have. That's fantastic. So just let me know where you guys are from. We're just gonna wait for a couple minutes. Let me know if you've painted before or if this is your first time joining us. Just send your comments, give me your thumbs up, and I can see as we're painting and having some fun together. All right, so tonight we're gonna use kitchen sponges cut up into some different sizes. I've just got some different sizes here. If you've just got big ones, no big deal. Hi, Jules. Welcome. I'm going to use some cotton swabs. Also going to use brushes, so I'm going to do kind of a combination of both because some of you may have brushes and some of you may just have the items from around your house, and that's cool. Either way works. So I'm going to use some different brushes tonight as well. And Jules is in Oshawa. Congrats. Welcome. So yeah, we're going to paint. We've got some red. We've got some black, we've got some white, we've got yellow, and a little bit of gold. And if you don't have yellow, no big deal. You can make your buckle gray and it can look like it's silver. So what we're gonna do with the buckle, just to change it up a little bit, is we're gonna paint it in a little bit of a different shape because sometimes curves and swerves and lines are sometimes a little intimidating for people. So we're gonna just make a rectangle buckle today. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, like I said, if you don't have yellow, and you don't have gold, then just paint it gray and it can be silver, a silver buckle, not a big deal. And then sometimes what I've done with this one is I've taken this painting, once it's all dry, and then I've decided that I want to add a little bit of sparkle. I'll just take some white craft glue and just brush it on into a few spots where I want a little bit of sparkle, and then use glitter and just shake the glitter on. And then you just give it a little shake, and then you let it dry for a couple of hours. And then just take a quick little hair dryer or a little brush and brush all that glitter away. And then you've got a little bit of sparkle on your painting as well. Okay, hi Daniela, welcome. I'm glad you joined us tonight. So again, got some basic paint tools. We're gonna paint this painting and I'm gonna walk you through it in a few different ways, okay? So that being said, I want everybody to get your sponges ready, and like I said, I've just cut mine into different sizes, but you don't have to. You can cut yours. You can leave them big if you've got a big kitchen sponge. I'm going to use some cotton swabs. I'm going to use some different size brushes, and we're going to create our very own masterpiece. So if you guys are ready, then I want you to just give me a thumbs up or give me some love. Hi, Tammy, and welcome, the Poconos. Oh, my goodness. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're joining us. Poconos is a beautiful place to live. Lucky you. Hi from Orno. All right, we've got some people joining on. This is fantastic. Okay, we ready? Are we ready? Give me some thumbs up. Let me know we're ready. Thumbs. Oh, I see a couple. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take this away, but this is our reference. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody ready? This is the last look we're going to get at it. And then we're going to create our own. Okay. And away she goes. And we're just going to set it right over here. All right. So just like you guys, I have a nice big blank canvas. So the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out where my buckle is going to live. Okay, so I'm going to take one of my sponges cut up, and I've just got a little bit of yellow paint on there. Can you see that? Just a little bit of yellow paint. Now I don't want my buckle to be right in the center because that's not really where we want it to be. We want it to be a little bit lower because we want it to make it look a little more pleasing to the eye. So to do that, I'm just going to take that sponge and I am going to paint a little bit of an elongated square. Just in some yellow, just down and right about there. So that's where I want my buckle to live, okay? You want it to be a pretty good size buckle because, you know, Santa's a jolly old elf. So we want it to be a nice size buckle, just like that, okay? And there's my buckle. That's all I want you to do. See, it's empty in the center. Still canvas, still no canvas in there. No paint in there. No paint on the sides. So just a nice size buckle. Okay, and you get to decide how big you want that buckle to be. I want mine to be about that big. There's no real magic to it, no math. Just whatever looks pleasing to you. You don't want it right straight in the center of your canvas. You want it down a little bit further on your canvas. Okay, and then I'm going to put that aside because we're going to come back and we're going to use that sponge later. So you guys let me know when you've got your buckle painted. So just a nice square yellow buckle or a gray buckle. If you don't have yellow paint and you want to paint it gray, that'll make it look like it's silver. That's all I want you to do. Okay, so just take your time. You guys decide where you want that buckle to live. And then you let me know when you're all done. Just give me some thumbs up. Give me some okays. Give me some we're good to goes. You just let me know. Because then I can tell that you're ready for step 2. Oh, I see some thumbs up happening. All right. Okay, so step 2. Now, we know that where our buckle is living. Now we have to decide that where we want Santa's fur to be. Okay, so I'm going to take another little sponge and I'm going to dip it in white. Okay, so I got a little bit of white, just like that. Okay, so with the white now, we want our fur to be about the same width as our buckle. It can be a little bit smaller, but not much, and it's going to go into a straight line right up and right down, not in the middle of our buckle, underneath our buckle and over top of our buckle. So I'm just going to take that sponge and I am just going to make 2 little lines. So it's going to come straight down. All right, there's one, and you can barely see it. I think you can probably be able to see it on the camera. So I'm just making 2 straight lines, and that's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to fill that in with white paint. Okay, we're going to make it look all pretty and fancy later. But all we're doing right now is we're just going to go right to that buckle. And if you go a little bit over the buckle, that's okay, because we're going to do that later anyway. So you see that? I've just made 1 line. Now what I've done is I've painted on the top edge. This edge right up here, I want you to paint on that as well. Okay, because what that does is that's going to help seal the canvas in so that when you go to hang it up, you'll be able to keep it nice and safe, and then it won't shrink, and then your paint won't crack. Okay, so then the white at the bottom is going to match in the same width as the white at the top. And I said you're going to barely be able to see it, but it's going to give you the outline of where I want you to make your fur for Santa's coat. Okay, I think you can see it. You can barely see mine. It's barely there, and it's almost out to the edges of the buckle, just a little bit shy of it. So it's a little bit skinnier than our buckle, but not much. It's just straight up and down. And it doesn't have to be very heavy with the white paint. Just straight up and down. Okay, because we're gonna go back in later and we're gonna make that look all nice and fluffy and looks like it's got a little bit of soot in it and make it look like Santa's been busy going up and down the chimney. So that's all I want you to do. Okay, so you guys let me know when you're done that. Okay, so just let me know when you've got your white fur. You just give me some thumbs up or give me some love or just say okay, and then we know that we can move on to the next spot. So we've got our yellow buckle, we've got a little bit of our white fur, and now we're going to have some fun, and then we're going to figure out some next steps. Okay, so you guys let me know. Let me know. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how your beautiful masterpieces turn out afterwards. Okay, so we've got yellow and white so far. We've used half of our colors already. How about that? Okay, you guys let me know when you're ready. And then we're going to start with the next step. It gets pretty exciting. Very quickly, it's going to start looking like something. Are we good to go? You guys let me know when you're good to go. Okay, I think we're good to go. I see a couple of thumbs up starting to happen. All right, so now I'm going to take my next piece of my sponge. So I got the next piece of my sponge, and I'm going to dip that into the black. Now, there we go. See, just a little bit of black on my sponge. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the belt. Oh, Teresa, thanks. Thanks for coming in and having a look-see and coming and joining us. All right, so the next thing we have to do is we're going to make our belt. Now, we don't want our belt to be perfectly straight because, you know, that's kind of boring. So we're just going to put a little tiny bit of just like a little tiny bit of a happy face. Everybody see what I just did there? Okay, and then I'm going to take that paint and I'm going to come right down beside the yellow on my buckle. And I'm only going as far as the top part of my yellow on the bottom part of the square. So see that line right there that I just painted? So that's kind of where I want my black to stop. And I want to just follow that right over. And then I'm going to fill that in, and don't forget I'm going to paint on the edges of my canvas so that it fills all in as well. So we're just going to come right across, and we're just going to fill this all in with black paint, just like that. Okay, so see that? So now my belt looks about as wide as the inside of my buckle. And if you need it to make a little bit wider or a little bit skinnier, it's up to you. It's your world, and Santa can look whatever way you want him to look. So I'm going to do the same thing over on this side now. Remember I said we made like a little bit of just a slight little happy face because we want that belt buckle to look a little bit interesting. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to just go make a slight little happy face, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to come down the side, and then I'm going to go right across. And I'm going to fill that all in as well. Now, see how my belt buckle doesn't look very even over there? So now I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to go like that, and I'm going to fill that all in with my black paint. Now this is where your cotton swabs come in handy. Because see, I've still made a little bit of a oof there. So now I'm going to take my cotton swab, and I'm just going to smooth that edge out, just like that. See that? Just like magic. Just filled that right out. So it makes it all nice and smooth, all kind of level, and all kind of even. All right. So once I've got that done, now I've got to fill the inside of my buckle. Same thing with black. So I can either use my sponge, or I can use cotton swabs, or if I have brushes, I can use my brushes. Whatever is easiest for you, and you're going to do the exact same thing, and you're going to fill the inside of that rectangle now with black. So I think I'm going to use a cotton swab because I think maybe lots of you guys are using those tonight to paint with. And I'm just going on the inside, just like that. Just on the inside of that yellow. Because the fun part about painting is there's lots of different things you can paint with. You don't have to paint just with paintbrushes. You can paint with whatever you've got kicking around your house. Because when we first started doing these online, that's all we were using, is we were using sponges and spatulas and cotton swabs and plastic cutlery and paper towels and whatever you've got laying around. And it's amazing how quickly you can learn to paint just using those kind of objects all around your house. Somebody asked me today if I do these online now, am I kind of like Bob Ross? And I actually laughed a little bit and I said, well, my kids call me the Bob Ross of Oshawa, so I guess maybe I might be. Not that I did that intentionally. I think my hair's a little better than his, although I have to say he had pretty cool hair. So who knows? If I do him even a little bit of justice, then I'm pretty honored. And look at that. All of a sudden, we got something that looks like a belt. How about that? Isn't that cool? And that's just with a tiny little cotton swab. So I got cotton swab, kitchen sponges. That's all we're using so far. I think we're ahead of the games tonight. I think we're playing in the right field. Look at that. Fun, 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 fun. And already we used 3 of our 4 colors. So you guys let me know when you get your belt painted. And see, look at mine's not perfectly even on either side. That's okay. It could be maybe, maybe not. That's all right. We're just living in my own little world, and my little Santa belt is a little bit different. It's not perfectly even. So all of you people out there that are worried about it not being perfectly even or perfectly straight, it's okay. I promise it's okay. Because I know that we have some type A personalities that really get freaked out about that kind of stuff, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to have fun, because painting's all about having fun. All right, so now that we got our belt all painted, you guys let me know when you're ready, and then we'll move on to the next step. I see a couple of thumbs starting to happen. Oh boy, this is good. Yay! Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Are you having fun so far? I hope so. Let me know if you're having fun. Shoot me some love. Tell me yes, tell me no. If you're not having fun, I'm sorry. We'll try and make it more fun for you next time. All right, guys, look at that. Fancy. So, our belts are all set up. We got some white happening here. So what do you think the next thing is that we have to do? We have to paint Santa's coat. So for this, I'm going to use a brush just so you can see the different ways that we can do things. Okay, so I've just got a big square brush, nothing fancy. And I'm just going to dip it into the red. Now, if you don't have a brush, you can do this with a kitchen sponge as well. So don't be afraid, okay? And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint my red suit. And it's going to come right up beside my yellow belt and my white fuzzy fur. See that? And if there's a little bit of black that comes down into your suit, that's okay. Because don't forget that Santa's suit is going to have a little bit of soot on it, right? Because he's been climbing up and down chimneys all night. So in order for him to get in and out of those chimneys might have a little bit of dirt in them somewhere. And we don't want to worry about that because, you know, that's all part and parcel of the magic of Santa. So see that? I got a little bit of black. I'm going to pull it down into my red. So it looks like there's a little bit of soot kind of hanging out on Santa's suit. All right, everybody see that? See, there's like a little bit of black kind of hanging out in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. I'm going to paint the red. I'm going to go right across underneath the bottom of the belt. And I'm going to come down just like that. Don't forget I'm painting the edges because, you know, we want to make sure those canvases are all covered up. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to go over just a little bit and in. And that is the bottom of Santa's suit. See that? I got a little bit of black happening in there because that's the soot. We want the soot. Just like that. Okay guys, so see we've got a little bit of black happening down in here along with our red. And that's Santa's red suit. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to paint and I'm going to come down and see I've still got little bits of black in that paintbrush, and I want that because I want to see those black marks. And I'm going to go right up beside that white that I painted earlier, and I'm just going to paint up and down. And don't forget, paint the edges. Yeah, just like that. Okay. It's a little bit of red. And again, I'm going to go right around that buckle so that I can know where the buckle is. Okay, and right up against that black belt. Just like that. And then I'm going to pull up and pull that paint up. And then all that does now is that creates some soot on Santa's suit. Now some people get really freaked out by that, by seeing that soot color, that black color in there. They think it looks yucky and messy and dirty, and that's okay. If you don't want to put the soot on Santa's suit, you don't have to. So see that? A little bit of darkness just kind of hanging out in Santa's suit. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to paint some red. And again, I've got black in my brush, and that's okay. So it's like you're painting four corners of your painting. Just like that. And I'm coming up. And then I'm coming across because that's where our buckle is. And I'm filling that all in. And I'm just going to paint a little more red in there. And see, it's not perfectly straight up and down. It's a little bit wavy. And that's okay, because with the waves, we're going to fill that all in later anyway and make that look nice and fluffy. So see, I've just grabbed a little bit of the black, kind of pulling, painted the edges, make sure my sides are all painted, because it's very important. Sides of my canvas are all painted. Now I'm going to take that red again, a little bit of red, and I'm just going to add again a little bit of tiny black, just kind of here and there. And if you don't want to add the black, you don't have to. If you want Santa's suit to be nice and bright and shimmery and shiny, that's okay. And remember, black is such a strong color, you only need a tiny, tiny little bit on your brush anyway. And then see that? Look at that. It just kind of gives that whole look that Santa's been a busy man. Right? Just like that. That's all I did, is I just painted Santa's suit. So we got some red, a little bit of black, and if you don't like it, just let it sit until it dries, and then you can go back over it in the red again and it'll soften it right up. Okay? And that's all you gotta do. So we've got our nice big buckle, we got our black belt, and we got our white fuzzy fur and our red suit. How we doing so far? How's everybody feeling? We like it so far? All of a sudden it's starting to look like Santa, isn't it? All right, so you guys just let me know when you're ready. And you've got that red painted. And then we're gonna keep going because we've got some more to do still. If you're using a brush, make sure you clean your brush out really well. Because it's very important to keep those brushes clean and dry because then you'll be able to use them again and again and again and again. Try not to let them sit in the water for too long because if you let them sit in the water, then the water pushes up into the metal part on your brush. And that's what makes your brush go bad. Okay. Well, I got one thumbs up. How's everybody else doing? Are we good to go? Oh, I got another one. Okay, I think we're starting to get into business here. I hope so. Okay, guys. So now what we have to do is we have to make our fur look nice and fluffy. So we're going to go back to that white one again, that white sponge that I used. And I'm going to grab white paint. Okay. Lots of white paint on there. And I'm also going to grab the teeniest, tiniest little bit of black. See that? Just the tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of black. And all I'm going to do with that black now is I'm just going to put it in a couple of spots. I'm just going to dab it in a few spots, just like that. Okay. And remember I said black is such a strong color that a little tiny bit of that black goes a long, long way. That's why we're only going to put a few little dots. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that white sponge and we're going to start dabbing. Okay, so we're just going to go like this and start dabbing. And that gray, that black, is going to kind of go everywhere with us. Because remember, we've got some soot happening on our red part of our coat. Well, now we have to have a little bit of soot happening on the white part too, because it wouldn't make any sense. Now you'll notice what's happening. As I'm dabbing, keep going and grabbing more white paint. I don't need to grab any more black. And I'm going to start dabbing, but then I'm going to start coming over here to the side and I'm going to start making that line look really soft. Okay, so see how that white line that we painted earlier? I don't want it to look like a straight line anymore. Now I want it to look a little fluffy. So see as I'm doing that, see how it's starting to look a little fluffy over here on the side? That's what we want it to look like because we want it to look like fur. So I'm just going to keep adding white and I start in the center and then I work my way out to the edge. And I just keep moving that sponge in different shapes and sizes. Just kind of moving it around here and there and everywhere. Okay. And I'm just moving it all around in different ways. Just kind of flicking my wrist here and there and everywhere. And I'm going over the top of my buckle so it's not such a sharp line because I want it to look like it's fur. And it's just kind of going here and there and everywhere where it needs to go. And see, it looks a little bit gray and it looks a little bit murky, and that's what I want it to look like because I want it to look like fluffy fur. Okay, so I'm just taking that sponge and I'm just moving it around. I go like this. I don't know if you can see any better if I do it like that or not. Maybe I need to use my left hand. And I'm just flipping it, kind of popping here and there. Nice soft edges. See how that just turned that all into nice soft edges? And if your sponge is starting to look a little bit dirty, see my sponge is starting to look a little bit yucky, I'm going to pick up a new piece of sponge. And I'm just going to continue on with the white. So just again, just grabbing that sponge, kind of going here and there and everywhere. And that just softens that line right up. And we want to have a little bit of that gray look in there because we want it to look like soot. We want to look like Santa's been busy. Again, if you don't want to use the soot and you just want to use straight white, that's good, okay too. Maybe you're taking your painting as of Santa just before he heads out for the night. Okay, and I'm going right over top of the yellow part of that belt because I want it to look nice and soft down there too. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing down here at the bottom. So I'm going to just lift my canvas up just a tiny little bit as I have a well-worn, very well-worn easel. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And I'm just going to make nice, soft dabbing marks. Soften that all up. And if a little bit of red goes in there, that's okay. Because, you know, sometimes when Mrs. Claus washes those suits, they sometimes get a little bit of red on them too, I betcha. Okay, and I'm just going right up over top of that white part of that again. That white's going right up over top of that buckle, so it looks like nice fluffy fur down here. And just keep using that white until you make it all nice and as fluffy as you want to make it fluffy. And I'm just dabbing really lightly. And I'm just kind of dabbing in all different directions so that it looks all nice and fluffy, just like real fur. Okay, just like that. So you just keep dabbing until you get to the desired spot that you like and that you're happy with. There we go. And then you guys let me know when you're all done. See, it's not straight. There's a little bit of lines here and there's a little bit of lines there. There's just kind of bebopping around. And we're just dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. And when that dries, you can go back in and you can add some more white if you think that it looks a little dark to you. It's up to you. It's your world. It's your Santa. He can look however he wants to look. Okay, that's all you got to do. And look at that. It's starting to look fluffy. Starting to look a little bit like fluffy, 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 fluffy fur. And again, it's got a little bit of the black in there. And we want a little bit of black in there because, like I said, we want to make it look like Santa's been having a busy night. Because we want Santa to have a busy night, don't we? All right. So you guys just let me know when you're ready. And then we're going to make our belt look a little bit fancy next. Okay, so just fluff, fluff, fluff with that white paint. Make everything look nice and fluffy. And it's looking like Santa's starting to look a little bit more and more and more like Santa's suit, I think. What do you guys think? Are we getting there? Oh, I see one thumbs up. How we doing, everybody? You guys let me know how you make it out. You just let me know when you're ready to go. And if you didn't have a chance to do this, don't forget, guys, if you want to do this again or if you want to just experiment and try it different ways, I'm going to keep this up on my Facebook page for the next week. And then I'll move it over to my YouTube channel so you'll be able to find it, okay? All right. Oh, I saw a couple of other thumbs up. Oh, I see a couple more thumbs up. I think we're starting to get into business. Okay. So now you're going to take cotton swabs or a little brush, whatever you want to use. And now we have to make the buckle look a little fancy. So I'm going to take some of that yellow paint and I'm going to dip it into gold at the same time. So on my brush, I've got a little bit of yellow paint and I got a little bit of gold. Everybody see that? And so if you're using a cotton swab, I want you just to take the cotton swab and have both colors on that cotton swab. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go around the edges now, and we're just going to add some gold in, just like that. Just a little bit of gold here and there. Okay, so it makes it look like the belt is coming to life. So see that? A little bit of gold here, a little bit of gold there. I'm going to just throw a little bit down here like this. You decide where you want the gold to be on your buckle. Okay, I'm just going to go like this. And I'm using a little bit of yellow at the same time so it just makes it nice and soft. Just like that. Because Santa has a very special belt, so we want his belt to look special. So I'm just adding a little bit of yellow and a little bit of gold together, just to make that belt look a little bit shiny, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take that gold and I'm just going to dab right straight across the bottom. And if you're using a cotton swab, you're just going to make a little line across the bottom of that belt, just with the gold. And then just try and make it soft as you can. So what that does, by making that line across the bottom of the belt, it kind of gives the belt a little bit of a shadow. And you want that little bit of a shadow look because you want the belt to look like it's three-dimensional. Okay? So, once we've got that done, we have to do the same thing now with some white, because now we've got shadows. Now we have to give the belt some highlights. So I'm going to put some white over here. Just like that. A little bit of white. A little bit of white maybe right there. And all that does now is that gives my belt some highlight. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on the sides. Just how we did that dab, 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 dab with the gold at the bottom. I'm going to pick one side of my belt and I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm using the white paint right along that right edge, that whole edge, just like that. You'll see just by me going like this, just dabbing some white paint along there. That gives that side of the belt some highlights. And that just softens that edge of that belt up now. See, just like that. Now we've got some highlights on that belt. So if you did the buckle in gold, you're going to use either yellow to give it some highlights and some shadows, some yellow and white. Okay, I did the buckle first in yellow and now I'm using the gold. So you're going to go the opposite direction. If you did your whole buckle in gold, then I want you to use yellow and some white to give it some highlights. Okay, so we've got some shadow along the bottom. We've got some highlights kind of around the sides. Now we have to do the same thing on our actual belt itself. We have to give ourselves some highlights on the belt because we want the belt to look like it's shiny. So all I'm doing is I'm taking that same brush, or if you're going to use cotton swabs, just use a cotton swab. You grab a little bit of white and you're just going to do a few little whooshes. Just a couple, see how just like quick little whoosh, whoosh. And then maybe I'm going to put one over here as well. One here. One here. There we go. And now Santa's belt looks a little bit shiny. Just like that. Because sometimes when you have really shiny black, you'll see like little reflections of light on it, and that's what you want to do with Santa's belt. Okay. Now, you guys let me know when you're there, when you're at that step. So we've got some highlights and some shadows on our belt buckle. We've got some highlights on the actual belt itself. So now we have to do a couple of other things to make our belt look nice and fancy. Okay. So the next step that we have to do is we have to put the toggle. Okay, so the toggle is the little thing, the little pin that goes into the belt buckle holes. So for that, I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow and I'm just going to dab a line right on the black, just like that. I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to go right over that little line. Just like that. See that? And then I'm going to take a little bit of gold and I'm just going to go right on that as well. So I got 3 colors happening in there. So when it dries, you're going to see all 3 of those colors to kind of give you shadow and highlight. So that's the toggle. So you want your toggle to go onto your belt buckle. That's all it is, just one little straight line. Nothing fancy, nothing too complicated, just a nice little straight line with yellow, gold, and white. Okay. All right. You guys let me know when you're ready, and then I'll tell you the next step. Look at me, I'm a painter. I have paint all over my hands. My goodness. It doesn't take much for me to get paint all over my hands, let me tell you. Okay, how are we liking it so far? Are we liking our painting so far? I hope so. Let me know. And don't forget, make sure that you share those paintings with me afterwards because I love to see how everybody's paintings turn out. Okay, so now we have to figure out the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put Santa's initials on his belt. So I'm going to use a little liner brush right there. If you don't have a liner brush, use cotton swab. Okay, and I'm just going to go into the white. It's very important they use the white. And I'm going to put an S on one side. And I'm going to put a C on the other side. Now, mine might look backwards to you guys, and that's okay. But you know where the S and the C belong. So I'm just using white paint right now. And I'm just putting the S on one side. And the C on the other. That's all I want you to do. Just the S and the C. We're going to let those dry for a minute and then we're going to come back to those. Okay. So now I want you to have a look. Have a look at your fuzzy fur. Does it look good? Are you happy with your fuzzy fur? Do you want your fuzzy fur to have a little more color in it? Do you need it to have a little bit more white? This is your opportunity to do that. So have a look at your fuzzy fur and think, oh, is it dry now? Can I add more white? Am I happy with it? Does it look okay? Let me look. And then look at your other parts of your painting. So see down here, my black looks a little bit fuzzy. So I'm gonna take that little tiny liner brush that I just used and I'm just gonna clean that line up a little bit. So I'm just gonna take that brush and I'm just gonna make that more of a solid line, just like that. And same thing up here, it looks a little bit fuzzy to me. So I'm just gonna take that black little liner brush and I'm just gonna make that, and I'm gonna straighten that line out just a little bit. Because you know what, we're painters. When you're an artist, you can go back in and change things up however way you want to change things up. So there we go. Just like that. And I've just cleaned that line up just like that. And then you can decide too where you want yours to have a little bit more color, or if you're happy with the way yours looks, or if you don't want to change anything, you don't have to change anything. Okay, I actually see this line over here. See, as I'm painting, I'm noticing things. And that's the cool things about paintings. You can always go back in and change these up later too. So once it dries, if you're not happy, if you need to go back in and change things up a little bit, then you can go and do that. So see, I just straighten that line out just a little bit. Just like that. Okay. So how are you guys liking your painting so far? Are we good? Are we happy? Do we need to add a little bit more here, a little bit more there? You guys let me know when you're ready, because we need to do the next step. So we got highlighted on our buckle. We got some highlights happening on our belt. We got fuzzy snow fur. We've got some soot covered red. And we're almost done, guys, believe it or not. So now the next thing we have to do is we have to figure out, we have to make our snow. So there's different ways to make snow. So you can either use a cotton swab and just dab, 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 dab. And you're gonna dab, and you're gonna dab over your belt, you're gonna dab over the buckle, you're gonna dab over the red, you're gonna dab into the fur, you're gonna just dab white little dots everywhere. That's all you gotta do. White little dots. If you have a toothbrush, you can take a toothbrush and make really fine snow. Ask mom and dad before you do that, because it has a tendency to get everywhere. You can take a paintbrush and paint your snow. You can take the back of a paintbrush and paint your snow. Okay, so you're gonna just paint dots of white everywhere to be your snowflakes. I'm gonna use the little liner brush because it's already going. I've already got it in my hands. So I'm just gonna take some white paint and I'm just gonna start dabbing little dots kind of here, there, and everywhere. And I'm going right over everything. Okay, and you decide how much snow you want Santa to be in. Is he in just a gentle little snowfall? Is he in a raging blizzard? Look at that, see, I'm putting the dots right over top of the belt. Because the snow doesn't stop. It goes right over the belt. Just like that. Look at that, see? Look at snow, we got snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Okay, so see there, look at that, one side already has snow on it. So now I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm just gonna put some dots, and you'll notice that some of them are heavier, some of them are lighter. Some of them are barely there, some of them you see. And I'm just kind of putting, you won't see the dots pretty much in the fur, but I'm putting dots in there just so that I keep kind of going in a rhythm and a pattern. Oh, and I'm even putting dots on the sides. Put dots on the side of my canvas. And a little bit more, picking up that white, putting snow on my belt, just like that. Okay, and a few little white dots here and there. Dun, dun, dun. White, 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 dot, dot, dot. Okay. And I'm going to put just a couple of little dots in the center as well, because snow falls everywhere. So you decide how many snowflakes you want to have on your Santa. Just little dots. It makes it look like snow. If you want big fluffy ones, you can make bigger ones. That's okay. And once you've got your snow, then you guys let me know when you're done. We only have a couple more steps left to do, believe it or not. How are we making out? Is everybody having fun? Let me know if you're having fun. Give me some thumbs up. Any questions so far? Are we good? Does everybody seem to be having okay? You're following along, it's making sense? So I don't want you to get frustrated, because that's not fun. I want everybody to have fun and have a good time. Oh, I see Rosa, she's giving me a thumbs up. Thank you, Rosa, you're being very interactive and letting me know. That helps me a whole lot, because I can't see you guys. Normally when I do these paint parties, I'm right there and I can help you and paint along with you and show you how to do this stuff. But it's really hard when I'm by myself and you guys are in your own homes. I can't hear you. So I'm happy that I get the comments and I get to see what everybody's doing and that you're ready to go on to the next step. All right, so we've got our S and our C down here. I didn't forget about these guys. So we're going to take our gold paint now. Now, if you painted your belt gold, then you're just going to do this in yellow, and you can do this in black, or you can do this in brown. And I'm going right over top of that white with my S on my S. Just like that. And my C. Now, you'll notice that it's not solid. You can still see a little bit of that white coming through there. And that's good. We want that. Because then that makes it look like the letters have been engraved into the buckle. So see, I've got my S and my C. Because we all know what those 2 letters stand for, I think. What 2 letters do those stand for? Does everybody know? Okay, so you guys paint your S and your C in. Okay, you guys, once you got your S and your C painted, you let me know when you're ready. I have an S and a C. Are we ready? Are we ready to go? That's it, Santa Claus. Yay! You guessed it. All right, guys, so guess what? We're all done our paintings. The last thing we have to do, and anybody who's painted with me knows this, that you have to sign your masterpiece. Always sign your masterpiece. So I just go down in the bottom corner and I do a K, and I use the 2 diagonal lines from my K to make my E. And that is our painting called Believe. So I hope that you had lots of fun. I hope that you are happy with your painting, because that's the most important part. So please share your beautiful masterpieces with me. We're probably going to do one more of these in December, and it's going to be a surprise. It's actually going to be pretty fun. I've just got to work it out and make my sample first before I share it with you guys. And I think it might be a Christmas gnome. So if you want to paint along and you need to get the ingredients and all the stuff that you need to paint, give me a shout. Please make sure that you've liked and followed my pages on Instagram and Facebook. I'm at the Paint Diva 1. And then watch for when we post our next event. So thank you all for sharing, and thank you all for joining. I love doing these. So please feel free to reach out with any questions, and don't forget to show me your masterpieces in the comments. I can't wait to see them. Have a great evening. Take care of each other, be kind to each other, and stay safe. Thank you so much again. Have a good night.